All right, third time's the charm. We're gonna start with some more stuff. I'm probably gonna just end up posting all three just because I don't have a lot of ways to edit right now. It's shit. But I try to do the best I can. Let's go with something like that. What do you think about like low budget stuff, like indie stuff, crowdfunding things? And as an added bonus, what do you think about the perversion of it with Sony's announcement that we were talking about in there? Shenmue, and like, even though they could have, funded it themselves, they were like, hey, let's just make everyone who's a fan fund it.
Drew, we're doing a web series.
I was under the impression that the creator of Shenmue was always planning on doing a Kickstarter.
We're having an interview right now for my vlog.
Really fucking busy, Fuzz. You fucking asshole.
Fucking, we're doing it.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Fucking yeah. All right.
Live. All right, pick it back up. So I was under the impression that the creator of Shenmue planned on doing a Kickstarter anyways, and they were just Sony was able to just help out with that, help out with the promotion, help out with the development of it, and they were also able to like they break the news. Sony gets a big boost for E3, and the creator gets the win of people wanting to back his Kickstarter. There's some problems I have with Kickstarter when big guys start using them, but it's going to happen anyways, and there's no way to police that, unfortunately. Then there's the other problem that people, like, there are indies. I love indie games. Some of my favorite games are indie, like Gone Home and Kentucky Route Zero. Even Life is Strange, while published by Square Enix, is made by a really small company, and I love all those story games. And some of the best games come out from the indie space to me. But it's really unfortunate that when an indie game says, all right, we need $300,000 to make this game, and it's like 4 people, and people are like, why do you need this much when, like, what's the Castlevania, the new Castlevania one?
I'm not sure what it is. You guys?
Yeah, I know it's not Castlevania, but it's like a spiritual successor to
Bloodstained?
it. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and so he had like a $2 million something or other listed as his budget, and it's like, that game costs way more than $2 million to make. And it's just like they have funding from outside sources, and people are thinking like, oh, you can make this Castlevania game by the Castlevania creator for $2 million. Why does this indie game need a fourth of that? And it's like these indie game people need to eat and house themselves, and they don't have those extra investors. So there are problems with it, but there's, like I said, there's no way to police that. And I'll take all the Kickstarters that do get kickstarted by the indie space, and I will love them.
Okay.
Hey, one of you guys take a picture, right?
I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess. That's not the right word for it, but there's two sides to it. And on the one hand, big names in Kickstarter, they're bringing attention to Kickstarter, you could say. On the other hand, they kind of aren't, because they're taking attention away from smaller Kickstarters.
But to jump in, when Tim Schafer, one of the first big game names to jump on Kickstarter, he brought so many eyeballs to Kickstarter that games started getting more and more funding out of it. Started to steal away from it. So he brought so many new people, and they stuck. And so they were spreading not money just to Double Fine Adventure, which became Broken Age, but they also spread it to other indie games. Like, it's since tapered off, but it still brought in a deluge originally.
It definitely can have that effect, but it can also have the effect that you talked about, Alex, of spreading these false ideas about how a game is funded. And at the end of the day, though, I don't think that you can ever expect the general public or game consumers, gamers, to really understand how a game is funded anyway. I mean, filmgoers don't really know much about film budgets. And I'm saying this as a filmmaker.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a filmmaker too. You didn't know that, but now you do. Yeah.
Who fucking isn't in LA? And films still get Kickstarter funded, and big name filmmakers have gone to Kickstarter too, and we've had the same discussion about films. Was it Zach Braff or something asked for like $3 million on Kickstarter? I think for his last movie. His last movie fucking sucks, by the way.
Oh, damn it! I actually wanted to see that movie. You think so, really?
I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
I'll watch it, and we can have a critical discussion about it.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of Zach Braff, so maybe I'm not like the one to even ask. I didn't like Garden State. So,
okay.
And everyone fucking likes Garden State except me. I'm a crazy person. So
we'll return back to that.
For sure.
Oh man, I kind of like it. I like it when like say like a smaller company that doesn't have money. No, I like it. It's a good way to get everyone involved. However, I also hate doing like, for instance, Sony. I'm sorry, but Sony makes enough money already. They should be able to do it on their own. However, I do see their idea of them trying to get their fans involved with it.
Right,
That's
for
a good
sure.
idea, but if you're just doing it purely because you don't want to make the money yourself, you don't want to use your own money. That's a little different. That's the
Yeah, that's when they're stepping on everybody's toes and spitting in everyone's faces actually by the game.
There's actually something that a lot of indie film producers that I know, my personal friends, we all talk about is, you do a Kickstarter, like a film we're working on right now called Samurai Cop 2. Samurai Cop 2 is Kickstarter funded for, I don't know the numbers exactly because I'm just a PA on the film, but it's like 300,000, I think. Once they got that money, once they got some traction with their Kickstarter, investors, companies came in. They said, "Hey, your Kickstarter, we'll double it," and so that doubled their budget. And so it's a project that is both Kickstarter funded and it has the backing of investors. But one kind of brought the other for them, and so the Kickstarter made that investment possible. And it's possible. I don't know the case with the Sony announcement. I just got here today.
Right.
But maybe this it's kind of the same story. It's that this game was on Kickstarter and it was gaining some traction. That
they
attracted.
launched the Kickstarter during E3. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah, it
like,
was during
Shenmue
E3,
3,
Okay.
and they're like Kickstarter, and it's like the Kickstarter site was down for like an hour afterwards, but then it was by the end of the night they hit their $2 million goal, and again that $2 million was just like, this is to get you the SHE of Shenmue, and if we get to 10 million, you'll get all the letters of Shenmue. So. That was a joke I stole from Ian Bogost, who is an excellent games critic. You should follow him on Twitter and read his stuff.
Awesome plug. Yeah, that's something that I really want to do with my channel. My channel is relatively new. It's called Symphony of the Nerds, guys. Hopefully all this will be up tonight. I am going to ask you one last question after I give this little explanation, but I really want to unify nerds, and I want people who don't necessarily see themselves as nerds or don't really understand what it means, because, I have a son that's a nerd or something like that. I want people to understand it better and understand it as its own culture as opposed to some weird thing people do. And part of this pretty much segues into my next question for you guys, my last question for you guys, which is just basically and actually kind of funnily, the stuff that we talked about in this panel is right, the type of stuff I want to tackle. I want to tackle, feminism, racism, just why we do the things we do, and why we love, video games, anime, and shit like that so much. I'm actually talking about me. I'm talking about my interests, and they actually are very in line with yours. I was actually very, very touched that another person has the same opinions as me so strongly and comes from a completely different background, and I never even heard your name before my roommate told me I should go to your panel.
Who's your roommate?
This guy that I do a podcast with, his name is Vince Stevens. Sorry, Vince, if you didn't want your name on here.
We'll bleep it, man.
Our podcast name is Strange Illustrated, but the video we're doing right now is for my vlog, which is called Symphony of the Nerds.
Do you know why your friend knows about Fazio?
I think that he read the description.
I'm gonna be a co-host.
So wait, I want to know.
Don't worry about it.
I want to know what's happening because you knew something. You were going to say something, right?
Well, here's the thing. I know pretty much 40% of the entire anime community nationwide. So if you know someone I probably know some.
We're still making names for ourselves.
We all know Kevin Bacon. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I don't think you know him.
No,
but you can meet him if you
I know
want.
somebody who does.
He knows me.
I know a guy who knows a girl.
I didn't ask him. I didn't ask him if he knew you. I asked him what panel he would want to go to if he went to a panel tonight, and yours is the only one he would want to go to. I didn't ask him why. I just went.
I want to know where he heard me.
No one gives a fuck about this kid.
You guys do a podcast.
Yeah, we do a podcast, strangeillustrated.com.
Strange.
We talk about video games, anime, politics, you name it. Basically what we were doing in there, just in podcast form.
Are you guys based here?
Yeah, we live. We can walk to my apartment in 5 minutes.
Cool, man. I mean, if you ever,
I live in West Hollywood, and I love
networking.
I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off.
I don't know if you ever do guests or anything.
Oh no, all the time.
Yeah.
I love talking.
This would be awesome. Okay, could you hold this? Can you hold it in a way that lets everyone see this is happening?
If you right here, I'll give you mine.
If you let me be a guest, you get
I'm part of a radical First Amendment.
Whether you want to or not, you're gonna get dog, is what I'm saying.
I'm with this guy, whether he likes it or not. We're fucking like heterosexual life partners.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, we're very gay.
God damn it.
I do not work with
I'm trying to think of which contact information I should just put in here. I should put everything.
Dude, not your real one. You don't want this guy knowing who you are.
This is perfect for conventions. I use this for
Did you add me on Facebook? And,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Add that. And honestly, I just really like doing podcasts.
Podcasts are
I
amazing.
used
It's
to do
like
a few, but we never got anywhere.
Oh really? They don't need to go anywhere. You just need to get the energy out there. You
We're
know.
gonna start doing podcasts and some Twitch streams too.
For sure,
Oh
man.
really? I've been really meaning to do
We're gonna
some.
do I'm gonna do Splatoon Twitch streams.
I think so,
I'm actually
probably.
not terrible at that game. I really like it.
Oh yeah, I hear it's like Nintendo's Call of Duty.
It's amazing. Splatoon is worth getting a Wii U. It's incredible.
Oh really?
I play it too much.
All right. Yeah.
I haven't played a shooter that much since Gears of War 1.
Really?
Yeah.
They had an autograph section. I would have got it. Little Creeble's autograph. Little Creeble's autograph.
That game sucks so much they had to give it away. I got that shit for free on PC. Game from EA. I was on Facebook like, yo, have all the Titanfall season pass for free. Buy the game for $5. I bought that shit for $5. I played it once, never again. It's Call of Duty with Halo rocket jumps. Boring as fuck. No thank you. I'd rather play a game from 2009. I'd rather play Valkyria Chronicles on Steam than play Titanfall.
Valkyria Chronicles is awesome.
It is. It's really awesome.
I played
Okay,
a
I
game
gave
called
you a lot of different
Project
things
Crossroads,
just in
and it has
case.
that character in
No
it, like,
problem, dude.
I know that character now.
All right, cool.
Look, my friend has it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right here, like.
But yeah, I'd love to.
I want to completely just play the series.
Oh yeah. We'll probably do
My
something.
Twitter is Archetype, completely open. You don't have to use Twitter, just visit me. Google search Twitter Archetype to find me.
All right, cool.
Sugarwarning.us is my startup. We're 2,500 into 15,000.
All right, cool, dude. I am going to. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be awesome
Rachel,
sauce. I think this is your
I'm
pen.
I'm her assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's your pen.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, cool. Actually,
have cards yet.
that's okay. Can I include you guys in the last question
Yes.
for the interview? All right, cool. All right, so last question.
Who are you interviewing?
I'm interviewing all these guys, all these wonderful people on both sides of me.
Are you not interviewing?
You don't have to lie.
Well, I mean, I guess like if you were to say everyone in this whole sphere, technically not. But if anyone wants to talk to the camera and answer the question, they totally can. Because this is for everyone because we're all here. So I feel weird if someone was like, no, that offends me. But it's just basically like.
I can say that.
I guess how long have you considered yourself a nerd or something akin to the phrase? And do you think it's something that was ever needed to be taken back? We were talking about otakuism in there and how, in the West, otakuism is like, oh yeah, like it's such a thing for pride. But in Japan, it's kind of like, oh, you're an otaku. It's like it's not good. It's like you live in your parents' basement sort of thing. And so not only, how long have you considered yourself a nerd, is there any time that you feel like you need to hold back on that? Because obviously in a con you don't need to. And do you find like a certain amount of pride in that like helps you in your everyday life? Right. Or is it just like a meaningless hobby that can be replaced with something else?
Whoever you want to start with.
I'll start first because I'm open-minded, but I think that when it comes down to like, I like what I like, and it's the kind of thing where like, yeah, I like anime, and a lot of aspects of anime can be like problematic or can be kind of like shitty or whatnot, but no matter what you're into, if there's something positive that you can extract from something that could be like kind of all over the place, then you got the message.
Okay.
That's what's important, you know what I mean? I think that for me, as someone who was kind of always considered like a self-identified nerd, like I didn't have any brothers or sisters or anything like that. Like I kind of relied on media and books and comic books and video games, try to entertain myself. You know, I kind of try to be selective about what kind of media I take, because I know that I'm not going to get a story if I pick Crash Team Racing on PlayStation, but if I pick Final Fantasy 9, I know that I'm going to possibly learn something about how to interact with people. So that's the reason why I chose that game. So I can learn something from it. Crash Team Racing was pretty good, but there's a difference between wanting to get drunk with your homies on a Saturday night and wanting to go out on a meaningful date with someone that you like, on a Friday night.
It's actually my favorite.
You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it's like, you can, when it really boils down to it, if I want to get a little metaphysical for a moment, every human being we meet is really just some kind of reflection of ourselves. If you think about an ant colony, all of the ants work together in a hive mind.
I think this is where we stop the...
I was trying to find a way to segue into moving in just a little bit, I'm not a rude guy. Thank you. Actually, thank you. No, that is important. It's important. This is all going up.
That's my perspective, so let's go.
Right. Fazio, do you want me to reiterate the question?
Go for it.
Well, Bukowski always said... Only Justin's looked up.
Socrates or something.
Socrates. It's like about being a nerd, right?
Yeah, like how long have you identified as such, and how strong an effect does it have on your life?
I mean, I guess like the term nerd didn't really have like too much meaning. I mean, there must have been a point in my life where I was made fun of or called like a nerd. I don't really kind of remember it now, I guess, but it's one of those things. I mean, I've been a nerd, or at least I've liked nerdy things ever since I can remember. I remember getting a Sega Genesis when I was 4 or 5, and I've been playing that forever. I mean, I think it was mainly just my family is really kind of open to that stuff. Like my dad used to collect old animation cells, from like the 40s and 50s, like old Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. We always had like every Disney, VHS. So I was always really into cartoons and things like that. It was always something that kind of really, I just always liked that kind of like that other world stuff. I felt like my world was really boring. It's kind of like, I mean, other people have much better reasons. Like, oh, my life was terrible. I found release and escape through video games. It was just a fucking boring life.
All answers are valid.
It's kind of, and I felt like I wanted to do kind of more like, I remember as a kid, I'd be like, oh god, I wish Pokemon were real. That'd be so sweet. Because fucking school sucks. I want to do Pokemon, and I hate all this stuff. And that was always really interesting to me. And I mean, as far as like if it ever gets like a negative connotation, or like if I ever changed myself, because I think it's like a nerd psychopath. Is that kind of like the question?
Yeah, kind of like, have you ever had to compromise yourself?
Well, I think it's there's always like a time and place for everything. Like if you're going around talking to just a random person, you don't want to open up with like, did you see the last Naruto? Like, I mean, it's like I was like really kind of like that kind of nerdy when I was like really young, like middle school. But then you kind of get to high school, you kind of figure, okay, not everybody wants to hear it. And at that point, I decided I really wanted to start doing comedy. I wanted to kind of be more in front of, I was going into college where I wanted to be a film major. I wanted to make movies, write and direct. So I kind of knew that I had to get a different language, which I don't think that's like compromising. I'm always like myself, but I'm myself without every other word being a Gundam, a label or a Gundam reference or something.
I totally get it.
It's just about being fair to people. It's not their fault they only buy Madden football games. That's the only video game. This is people. They're not any better or worse than we are. They're just like anyone else. And when I do comedy, I want everybody to laugh. I don't want just the nerds or just the jocks to laugh. I want everybody to have a good time, and that's kind of where it comes from.
I'm gonna stop you there.
Yeah, can I say one more quick thing?
Yeah, sure.
Just one more quick thing about the word nerd is a
okay. Yeah, totally.
About the phrase nerd. I think the term nerd is kind of meaningless at this point. I don't think it's pretty much become whatever people want it to be, for good and bad. I think people will use the term nerd to make fun of people. People will proudly call themselves a nerd. even if they are nerdy or if they're not nerdy, or people will say like, oh, you're not a nerd, you don't understand that, or if you were a nerd you would really like this, you know. It's like it's kind of meaningless in that sense. It's maybe, I don't know if otaku will ever become that, I don't know, but when I hear nerd, it kind of just passes through my ear like any other kind of just like whatever phrase, you know. It doesn't really mean anything. She thought that was funny.
That's okay. All right.
So I made a few notes.
Oh, sweet. That's some energy I can get behind.
Stealing what I'm going to say.
You actually covered some points, so I don't have to say as much now. Yeah, the word nerd is very generic now. So, like, the biggest movies of these past couple years have been all superhero comic book movies. Like, it is super mainstream to be a nerd now. So it's just it's like when everyone's a nerd, no, it really doesn't mean anything anymore. So I'm gonna give you a different answer than what you then. It's gonna be a different.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
It's
like
the answer you're looking for, but it's not the question you asked. I stopped calling myself a gamer a few years ago, maybe a year ago, because it's just I started looking at gamer culture, and because there's no king of gamers to like kick people out if they're being assholes. So it's just gamer culture started kind of spiraling into like some kind of like waste heap almost. And like, I mean, I'll still like slip and refer to myself as a gamer because it was an integral part of my identity growing up and being even a teenager and into college. But it was just. I just stopped liking everyone that would call themselves a gamer on like an internet forum, and I was just like, you know what, maybe I don't want to be a part of that because there's no way I can police that, and they're just gonna get worse and worse. So I don't know, like player is the thing I would call myself now.
I don't know if that's the best one.
Yeah. I know. Some
or like say you're a game fan. You know, like say they're film fans, film buffs. Maybe you're a game buff.
Game sounds.
What about like a game of file?
So this all sounds terrible.
Oh, I guess.
It makes it sound like you're fucking video game progress.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I play video games, but it's not so important that I flip out. If someone makes fun of a video game, for the longest time it felt like they were attacking me, and I've been able to, for the most part, dissociate myself from that. Every once in a while, someone will make fun of something, and my immediate reaction is like, fuck you, you're attacking me, not the media I like. But it's like, since learning to critique things, I've learned that it's okay to like problematic things as long as you acknowledge they're problematic. And that's like the biggest thing to me. So, like, nerd, gamer, whatever, as long as you can take the criticism of the things you enjoy, it's good to be whatever.
He's also summed up Gamergate incredibly well. Like,
oh really?
It's the exact reason why Gamergate exists is because of the things he said. When people attack or quote unquote attack or criticize something that you love, even if it's meaningful and try to make it better, they see it as an attack.
Yeah,
you know, that's why somebody like Anita who's saying something sexist, like, you're saying the thing I love is terrible. Like, no. Anita loves it. That's why she's saying it. If we love something, we say why it's bad so it can improve.
It's kind of great when people make fun of something. They're like, you didn't watch the show. And it's like, no, I watched the show, and that's exactly why I'm fucking saying what I'm saying about it and saying it needs to improve.
Yeah, because I care.
Yeah. It's just...
If we want to,
you're not attacking me. You're attacking something I like.
For your non-nerd audience that accidentally finds this video, it's like when people go criticize cops and ask them to want to be better. Like, you know, like, oh, you have to say everything good about cops. Like, you don't like if you like cops, you let them do your job. No, we love cops. That's why we say these things. You know, that's why we want them to stop shooting black people. That'd be a nice start, I think. But I mean,
you work your way up or down.
America, like, oh, if you hate America, leave. Like, no, I love America. That's why I'm saying this. If you really love something, you criticize it, I think. That's right. If you really love something, you tell them. It's like your bro. Your bro will tell you to your face why your screenplay is terrible. That's your real friend will do that. Your bullshit friend will just tell you it's great. Your mom will fucking do that for you.
Yeah.
Your mom will tell you it's great, I think.
My mom won't. Anyway, time for you. I know you've been waiting a long time.
I mean, these guys have taken the words right out of my mouth, I think. You know, if we're having these discussions about who isn't a nerd, who isn't a gamer, and, you know, I've always not really seen, I question the point of even having these discussions almost. Like, who cares? If you like, I don't know, nerdy shit, but you don't consider yourself a nerd, it doesn't bother me. I've self-identified as a nerd for a long time because when I was a kid, it was something that people would would use against me, the other kids would call me that in a derogatory way, and I kind of turned it around and made it my armor against them, you know? So, and it's something that as I've grown up, I don't need that anymore. I haven't called myself a nerd in a long time, except maybe jokingly, you know? And, I mean, obviously, fucking look at me. I am a nerd. You don't need me to tell you that. But like, it's not something that I'm waking up every morning thinking about. It's not something that, you know, whenever something, you know, when we're talking about nerds, I feel like I have to speak as one.
You don't feel like you need to represent the whole room.
It's not like, it's not some part of my identity as integral as, you know, I don't know, having blonde hair or being Jewish, you know. It's like, that doesn't, over the years it's become a smaller part of who I am, and I think that's just because I'm growing up, I guess, you know.
Interesting. Okay.
Can you state the question?
Of course, there's been a lot of talking, like a lot. So just, how long have you considered yourself a nerd? If you do, if you don't, tell me, and tell me why, and how important is it to your identity?
Well, for me, I think I was a nerd. First time I thought I was a nerd, it was when the first Pokemon came out in the US, I see my cousin get it, and I was instantly hooked to it. I mean, then again, I come from a lot of my family. I remember my aunts being in the room, uncles all of us sitting around the Nintendo playing Super Mario, passing controls to everyone as we died. And I'm not sure, we could not get past the first world unless my cousin was playing. Because everyone in that entire room got killed. They were like, oh, what? We're done. We're playing Duck Hunt.
Wow, family games together.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We still make fun of each other for liking games or all of our nerdy conflicts. We're family, so that's our job.
All right, cool. Awesome. Well, there's other people in this circle you can't see. So, does anyone... I can't see if you can see. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. So, do any of you guys want to say anything? I don't have anything to add. Nothing? Nothing to add? So you guys are all in support of all this energy.
I want to say one last thing. Fuck Anita Sarkeesian. Her videos are terrible.
The truth
He doesn't know video games and feminism is angry, slutty women with bleached red hair that complain at Starbucks.
Oh my gosh.
And then he added hashtag Gamergate, hashtag not your shields.
Hashtag not all men.
And there you go.
Can we do a little bit of an outro then?
Oh yeah, totally. What you guys want to do?
Well, I'll just go out and say anything that last we're gonna plug. What?
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay.
You gotta plug your channel, and I gotta plug my Twitter.
Okay. Well, this is on my channel, so they'll know. Hopefully.
Yeah. But no, it's the branding. It doesn't matter if it's on your channel. You gotta brand it. You gotta own it. You gotta own it. What's the name of this?
Oh, Symphony of the Nerds.
So Symphony of the Nerds. Follow this guy. Subscribe. Like his Facebook. Follow his Twitter. Do all that because he's awesome and I love his questions.
Wait, is that Symphony of the Nerds? Like
Symphony of the Night, like Castlevania, but
Symphony.
Nerds. Symphony.
Oh, it's not like. I was thinking of the Symphony of
everything.
Never mind.
Life.
Okay.
Symphony of the Night on YouTube. Subscribe and like.
Symphony of the Nerds on YouTube.
Nerds.
Okay, Symphony of the Nerds on YouTube.
Alright, so I'm Alex Hoffman. You can follow me at MolduNext9. I tweet all about the game I work on. PlanetSide 2 just came out on PS4.
Oh,
and
shit.
Occasionally,
on PlanetSide 2?
Oh, yeah. I also occasionally talk about WWE wrestling whenever there's a pay-per-view on. So follow me for that stuff. It's super exciting if you're into PlanetSide, and not if you're not.
Okay. Plug?
Oh shit, I don't want to. You don't want to follow me on Twitter. But I guess if you want to, it's Drew Franzblau, which if you can spell it, then congratulations, you can follow me on Twitter. And I mostly tweet about, social justice-y stuff. I'm a SJW. And I...
For anyone who's never taken that test, what does that mean again?
SJW. I'm a social justice warrior. I'm actually a social justice...
sorry. I thought it was the F, like F... BWJ or
Dude,
something?
I'm a social justice warrior. I'm actually a level 11 social justice ranger, and my alternate is a level.
He scouts out the hate,
L
so
for
he
human.
can target it. He scouts
Actually
out
dwarf.
men, so
Dwarf,
we
there
can
you
There you
go.
go. And then my alternate is of course a level 5 social justice paladin. And I also tweet about projects that I'm working on when I'm allowed to. Sometimes I got those scary NDAs. So I'm Drew Franzblau, and you can follow me if you can learn to spell my name.
All right, cool. Guys?
I have three plugs.
He's got 3 plugs.
Twitter.com at archetype ARCH3TYPE
He spelled it
at
out.
Rachel Haywire RACHELHAYWIER Twitter.com at Tipsy Cake TIPSYCAEK. The only 3 Twitter profiles you need to follow. That's all.
What about you, bro?
Just add me on Facebook, man.
What's your
Fucking
name?
Matthew Fazio.
There we go.
Matthew
Plugs.
Fazio. I got I don't know what else. I'm
FAZIO.
changing my picture, so but I don't know, the one that's living in Burbank, I guess.
All right,
That
cool.
one, Matthew. There's a couple. There's like 10 Matthew Fazio.
All right, guys, when this first goes up, there won't be links to any of these things. I'm just gonna look back through and try to fill them in as I can.
Matthew Fazio. I'll add anyone as a friend. I don't give a shit.
All right, cool. All right, so
This has been Symphony of the Nerds with
Quinton Weston
Hell yeah.
and all these other lovely people.
Boom, baby.
Bye bye.
Right.